I know, I know, I know. Yeah, surprised, bro. Well, I'll be looking like this, like even without Ramadan, I'll be looking like this sometimes. Like I'm telling you. Hey, gang, y'all know, ni man na jang it's like I'm gonna be a big hypocrite. You feel me? It's like, nigga, I'm not only entitled to prove like I have to do all of this entertainment stuff and stuff, bro. One God, brother. One God, one Allah. Like, yeah, man, but I hope everybody's having an amazing time. And this month is gonna be like more of an educative month, like more of education. We all have the chance to get closer to Allah. Like, you feel me? Jamoni Allah buka diam. So don't listen to anybody. Me no better bande ba farale ko. Like yo, sungarola na change, bro. Don't listen to nobody. Moma and jamini Allah close. You feel me? Each and every one of us is doing your best. Each and every one of us are doing our best. So do the best you can. Don't listen to nobody. No man is an island out here, brother. So yeah, man. This particular video actually, like I want to do more of a musical thing because we keep saying music is haram, music is better, but we need to really know like me and the music is better in case like you need to justify it to anybody. Music is haram and we are all sinners too. So anyway, we have the chance to get more educative in this month, and I'm gonna be trying my best. I know the little I can do. I will always do that. I will always do that. And yeah, man, let's get into it. Let's get it.
That every time I listen to something I love, it's haram. I'm not trying to disrespect Islam, but I find it so upsetting that
the question is I love music and it helps me vent. I am so tired of thinking that every time I listen to something I love, it's haram. I'm not trying to disrespect Islam, but I find it so upsetting that there is pretty much almost no halal entertainment for us. Bro, the world isn't even built for that, bro.
there's pretty much almost no halal entertainment for us. How do you respond to this question, Dr. Shabir?
Yeah. So before we answer the question directly, let's think about some broad principles. For us to say that something is haram in Islam, meaning prohibited, it must come from
haram maniga mimanda, something like that. Mimanda, right?
high authorities. The highest authority we know is God. So we ask ourselves, did God say anything about this? Now, some people try to say that some verses of the Quran speak about music. They refer to the 31st chapter of the Quran, Surah Luqman, where the story of Luqman is being told. And at the beginning of that chapter, it speaks about some people who purchase what's called lahwal hadith.
It says some people prefer idle talk in order to lead those without knowledge away from God's path and to ridicule it. They will have a humiliating punishment.
So as to misguide people from the revelation that was being given to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So lahwal hadith here, they say this is music. Well, they can only say that music can be incorporated under this broader umbrella category of what is called lahwal hadith. The lahwal hadith means something that is of no use. It's something like, a pastime that is of no benefit, either to people in this world or in the life hereafter. So when you think of the life hereafter, if you praying or fasting or so on, you're doing some kind of religious activity that'll benefit your life hereafter. If you're working out, you're exercising, you're earning a living and so on, all of that is beneficial for this life. So lahwal hadith is like speech that has no bearing on either of these things. More so, the verse is saying that the people were using that to detract from the message which came to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So we have to imagine, as the Quran says elsewhere, that the disbelievers are instigating each other and says, وَالْغَوْ فِيهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ.
The unbelievers say, do not listen to this Quran, but talk over it, so that you may prevail. Disbelievers are all on kufar. Okay.
When the Quran is being recited by the Prophet, peace be upon him, make some noise in the midst of it so that you can dominate the atmosphere. So people won't be able to listen to the Prophet, peace be upon him, reciting the Quran.
So it's like this thing, like, it's like noise with music is like it was purposely put Kila Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam distract. Okay. That's new, bro. That's new to me.
So that's a very different thing that is being condemned here. It's not only that people are just speaking of and using things that are of no benefit.
And you know, like the thing is even this, right? Okay. My how should I say it? Manke Shekhoti and Manke I'm just letting you guys know. But to my understanding, because bro, I've been reading hadith and like bro, I'm not already as a Muslim, I know it, like you feel me. So I tap more into some of these things as well. Because all the people that really know me, I'm like I've about hadith over there. So I'm very good on hadith. So the first 10, I don't know, I forgot actually where this particular hadith is. It's like neighbor something like that. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam about emphasize kind like saying come in hakilo to senior and all that. So and music is one of those things that like can and assigning more class, you know, like you feel me? Music is that particular thing that can really do that. So it's like sometimes like you can go like you are in a public gathering, like you can laugh more like my house. Okay, for instance, right now I'm playing music here, and my neighbor is like, am I like Mba without even knowing. And therefore personally, sometimes like you don't even know favor more Torakan and all that. One killer make this so very clear. Senior and all that. Because it's in your say didn't know Jahannam. Right? Facts. And music is one of those things me and go like play it in your ears though. I really advocate for that. Play it in your ears, me and got a modo but as far as you play it for like you are over it's like of course. Of course. Facts.
But they are using it to detract from the message which came in the Quran. So you can hardly apply that to music. And now, thinking about whether music is beneficial or not, we know from experience that music has some benefit. And of course, one has to think about how beneficial it is, how much of it to use, and so on, everything in moderation. And then the type of music, is it benefiting you or harming you? What is it doing for you or doing to you?
Hold on. I have to get this part.
It is, how much of it to use, and so on, everything in moderation. And then the type of music, is it benefiting you or harming you? What is it doing for you or doing to you? One has to choose wisely. But, one cannot just simply in a blanket way classify all of music as lahu al hadith. So we can't really pin this on the Quran. As for narrations from the Prophet Muhammad, peace.
He's saying like you're gonna say all the song, like all music are not haram. Regarding musical will be for the carriage message and stuff. Yeah.
Be upon him, who is our next highest authority. The references to him are either not so very clear or not very authentic. Mm-hmm. So you have in the lesser authentic narrative some condemnation of music, but we should ask, why isn't that condemnation in the most authentic forms of narratives which are related from him? It seems more like this is a later attitude that developed among Muslims, and they're trying to, get greater authority for it by attributing it back to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Perhaps not deliberately, but over time, people imagine things and trace it back to the Prophet, peace be upon him. Somebody says, okay, this is so true. So where do we get all truth from? It must come from the Prophet, peace be upon him. It must be that he's the one who taught us this from the very inception. And so they try to trace it back. Okay, I got it from my teacher, but my teacher didn't make things up. He must have got it from his teacher, who must have got it from his teacher, who must have got it from the Prophet. And so people rationalize things in this way. Now, sometimes the narrative is an authentic source, but it's not so very clear. For example, the narrative which says that the Prophet, peace be upon him, came to destroy musical instruments, or that people will, try to legalize musical instruments. But the term for musical instruments there would include what is called a daf in Arabic, a drum. And it is known from many narratives that the drum was permissible, like at the times of wedding, at least.
Really? Drums are permissible in times of weddings and stuff. None of these things are even written in the Quran, but it's like kill when you code, like, you feel me? Yeah. This is giving me so much knowledge though, because I was reading different articles regarding music, but I haven't listened like Okay, I listen to a couple of people as well. But like this is a new thing to me as well, called like it's permissible to put your drums all and all that. Yeah.
On the days of Eid and so on. And we can hardly imagine that something would be like morally reprehensible, but you allow it on the day of Eid, right? Because the day of Eid is not only for celebration, it's for the worship of God, remembrance of God, and so on. So altogether, we should say that there is nothing clear and authentic, either from the Hadith or clear from the Quran, that music should be prohibited. And so we can say to people, use of it as much as it's good for you, the type that is good for you, and devote more time to.
But he is also saying you can use your sense, and you should also know the type of music you should also listen to, because it's very important, which is true. Music
people use of it as much as it's good for you, the type that is good for you, and devote more time to the remembrance and the worship of God.
Thank you for this insightful.
Exactly, yeah. That's a very good point, though. Yeah, I think everybody should be just very careful about this, because it's really important. We all need to know this, actually. But no further ado, man. That is it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.